Welcome in. You already know what time it is. Alex Kleininger in the building. Let's dive into the Nexus. Let's dive into the Nexus. Step into the zone. Carolina stories got a life of their home. From the pages to the labs, yeah, we break it all down. If you love those books, you're at the right sound. Let's dive into the Nexus. Yeah, the mics stay reckless. Hometown justice, legends in the message. Casey Yokin's on the trail, solving cases non-stop. Turn it up loud, yeah, the Nexus don't stop. We talk plot twists, characters, theories. Author Q&A, getting answers you've been hearing. Special guests slide through, pull up a seat. Chaotic conversations with the Carolina heat. From small town drama to the mysteries deep. Every chapter got secrets we're ready to keep. Laughs laid back with the energy wild. If you read Kleininger, you already family now. Let's dive into the Nexus, step into the zone. Carolina stories got a life of their own. From the pages to the laughs, yeah, we break it all down. If you love those books, you're at the right sound. Let's dive into the Nexus, come and connect us. Alex Kleininger live, yeah, you rockin' with the Nexus. Hit play, stay tuned. Every episode fresh. Welcome to the Carolina Nexus. Brought to you straight from Carolina soil. Press play and let's dive in.
Welcome to the Carolina Nexus, ladies and gentlemen. I have had a very wild ride since moving. It's been choppy as hell. I've been working on getting everything situated so I can do more of these episodes. With that being said, bear with me for just a minute. I got to get some stuff to put up on the screen. I thought I was prepared before I hit go live, but obviously I'm not. So give me just a second. People would stop messaging me on Facebook. Okay. Now, let me get this put up so I can put it on the screen for you guys. Where'd it go? There we go. I'm still looking for it, guys. Bear with me. Again, I'm totally unprepared. It was not my plan to be like this. I think this is what I was looking for. Hey, Tata, thank you for watching. We're going to read Tigapagon in just a minute. Just bear with me. Yes, that's what I wanted. I got one more thing to put up on the screen. Again, sorry, I'm unprepared. This was supposed to have already been uploaded, but it didn't upload last night like it was supposed to. Before I dive in, I have some announcements to make. If you guys did not check out TCW Saturday night, go check them out. Their next show, as soon as I get information on the flyer, I will. It is an amazing show. I personally was unable to attend for Saturday night, but I'm working on being able to attend so I can bring you guys live coverage from the venue. That's my goal with the Carolina Nexus, especially considering that they are big supporters of us. Hey, Riley, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. So with that being said, I also want to bring to your guys' attention, because the Carolina Nexus is not just about advertising my books and my projects. I advertise everybody's projects, especially friends of mine. So the American Diesel Dump Truck, he sells diesel honey at wrestling shows. Go check him out. But this time I have a new author that I'm showing up for, Athena Rain. If you aren't familiar with the name, ladies and gentlemen, go check her out online. I wish I could make this bigger. Let's see if I can. Nope, it's not going to make it bigger. But this is one of her images from her page. As soon as I get a better image or am able to blow this image up, I will do so. Athena Rain is married to one of my close friends from high school. This is her first book. From what I understand, it's an amazing read. I've read through the first chapter. It's got me drawn in. I'm just so busy. I haven't had time to read all the way through it yet. So I'm taking my time. And also, I have my writing projects and everything else going on in my life. So it's a great read starting with chapter 1. You won't want to put the book down. I don't want to put the book down, but life forces me to. And then I've already mentioned this once or twice on the Carolina Nexus, but this was a review that was left for me for Hometown Justice Homecoming. I can't really read that on the screen, so I'll read it from my phone. This was posted January 8th, 2026. Hometown Justice Homecoming launches a gritty crime series rooted in loyalty, violence, and the cost of coming home. Author Charles Cloninger, for those of you that don't know, that's me, introduces a hard-hitting thriller about a Marine's return to a hometown consumed by a brutal drug war. And again, I apologize for the sinuses issues. Just please bear with me. It's going to get better before it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I hope I can survive the show and at least get these 2 chapters read. In Hometown Justice Homecoming, author Charles Cloninger, that's me, delivers a tense and action-driven crime novel that explores what happens when the place you call home is no longer what you left behind. First published in paperback on June 28th, 2022, the book opens the Hometown Justice series with a powerful story of loyalty, survival, and moral reckoning that follows a soldier back to civilian life. The novel follows Alexander Alex Ruler, a recently discharged Marine whose plans are simple and deeply personal. After 11 years away, he intends to return home, reconnect with old friends, and resume his martial arts training and live quietly on his family farm. He's ready for peace after years of discipline, danger, and sacrifice. But the hometown he remembers no longer exists. In his absence, his once familiar community has become a battleground, caught in the crossfire of a violent drug war between 2 rival factions. Criminal influence has replaced small town order, and fear has taken root where trust once lived. As Alex is drawn back into the lives of the people he thought he understood, he quickly realizes that staying neutral may no longer be an option. Cloninger crafts a protagonist shaped by military service but unprepared for the complexity of fighting battles without clear rules or command structure. Alex's training gives him skills, but his sense of justice and loyalty are tested as he confronts corruption, violence, and the consequences of walking away or stepping in. Each choice threatens not only his future but the fragile balance of a town already on edge. Hometown Justice Homecoming blends elements of crime fiction, military realism, and a small town drama to create a grounded, character driven thriller. The story examines the emotional toll of returning home after a long absence, especially when the values you fought to protect seem to have eroded. Cloninger's pacing keeps the tension high while allowing space for reflection on identity, responsibility, and the meaning of justice outside the battlefield. Ultimately, Charles Cloninger's Hometown Justice Homecoming asks a difficult question. When your home is under siege, how far are you willing to go to protect it? And what are you willing to become in the process? The book is now available. Secure your copy at Amazon.com/Charles Cloninger. For reviews, interview requests, or additional information, contact Charles Cloninger. That gives my email address. So, yeah, guys, this is probably one of the best things that's ever happened for the Hometown Justice series, aside from that very first comment where it said that Akira, it was like reading Dragon Ball, if Dragon Ball was written by a redneck Akira Toriyama, which is a high honor for me. But we're about to dive right in. I've given people plenty of time reading that and making my 2 announcements. It says I have 2 viewers online, so we're going to dive in for those 2 viewers. Hold your questions until the end of each chapter. We are on chapter 21, ladies and gentlemen, out of 35 for this prequel. I had a lot of stuff to type out. Bear with me. We're going to get through this. Chapter 21. Sweat glistened on Alex's skin as he moved through the advanced tiger-style kata. His white gi caught the morning light streaming through the dojo windows, making each movement seem to glow. Allison, Ty, and Ken sat cross-legged at the edge of the training mat, watching with different levels of understanding. His form has improved, Tai noted, professionally recognizing the subtle shifts in Alex's stance that showed his growing mastery. His confidence, too, Ken added, seeing how their friend moved without hesitation now, each strike purposeful. Allison watched silently, still processing everything she learned about this world of martial arts. The Alex before her was different from the boy she'd grown up with, stronger, more focused, yet somehow still the same person who'd gotten flustered asking about nicknames. Sensei Kwando circled Alex as he trained, occasionally correcting a position with a gentle touch or a quiet word. Again, he would say, and Alex would restart the sequence, each repetition more precise than the last. The tournament's in 2 weeks, Ken whispered. Think he'll be ready? He already is, Ty replied with a quiet certainty. The question is, will Douglas be ready for him? Sensei Kwando raised his hand, halting Alex's kata. You are ready to attempt Tiger Fang technique. The atmosphere in the dojo instantly changed. Tai sat straighter, while Ken leaned forward with interest. Even Allison could sense this was significant. Tiger Fang? Alex's voice carried equal parts excitement and nervousness. Are you sure, Sensei? Tiger style flows through you now. Rai responds to your call. Sensei gestured to a training dummy. Focus energy like river into waterfall. Narrow, precise, powerful. Alex took his stance before the dummy, closing his eyes briefly to center himself. The others watched intently as he began the movement sequence, each step precise, each position flowing into the next. Now, Sensei commanded. Alex's eyes snapped open as he thrust forward, attempting to channel his Rai into the strike. For a moment, the air seemed to cackle with energy, but at the last second, something faltered. The strike landed solidly, but without the devastating force the technique promised. Again, Sensei instructed calmly, remember, Tiger Fang is not about strength. It is about focusing Rai into single point, like Tiger's tooth piercing prey. From her position, Allison could see the determination set in Alex's jaw as he prepared to try again. Again, Sensei nods at Alex. Alex moved through the sequence once more, his movement sharper with frustration. The strike landed hard enough to make the dummy shake, but still no right manifestation. Patience, Sensei cautioned. Anger blocks energy flow. Again. This time Alex slowed his movements, trying to feel the energy building. The strike came closer. Tai and Ken could sense the Rai gathering, but it dispersed before impact. Better. You feel it now? Yes. Again. Alex's breathing was heavy, sweat dripping from his forehead, but his movements were focused, deliberate. As he began the sequence, something felt different. The air, Allison whispered, static electricity raising the hair on her arms. Rai began to gather around Alex's fist as he moved, building with each step of the sequence. Just before impact, the energy took shape, the translucent form of a tiger's head materializing around his clenched fist. For a split second, it was there, fierce and beautiful. Then, like mist in the sunlight, it dispersed, but not before everyone had seen it. Holy, Ken breathed. That was, Tai started. Perfect, Sensei finished. For first manifestation. Now must learn to hold it. Alex stared at his fist, still feeling the echo of power that had coursed through it. I did it. Briefly, Sensei nodded. But enough to know you can. Tournament comes soon, must master control before them. Tiger Fang shows readiness, Sensei Kwando announced, moving to a cabinet in the corner. Now, we increase difficulty of training. He pulled out 3 sets of training clothing, each in their respective colors, white, scarlet, and fern green. The fabric looked heavier and denser. For remaining time before tournament, you wear these, 3 times weight of current clothing. Ken's eyes widening. 3 times? But Sensei, we can barely... Exactly, Sensei nodded. Cannot grow stronger lifting same weight. Cannot control Rai without pushing limits. Alex touched his new gi, feeling the incredible weight of it. Even just holding it made his arms strain. These make current training feel like warm-up, Sensei continued, but when tournament comes, a slight smile crossed his face, will make you feel light as feather. Allison watched the boys exchange glances, seeing the mix of determination and apprehension on their faces. The weight of their current clothing had already seemed impossible to her, and now they were tripling it? Remember, Sensei added as they held for their new training clothes, heavy burden now means easier victory later. Alex looked down at his white gi, then at his fist where the tiger's head had briefly manifested. If this is what it took to master the tiger fang to be ready for Douglas, when do we start? Now, Sensei said simply. The sound of splintering wood echoed through Boa Fang Dojo as Douglas's fist shattered another training dummy. Sweat dripped from his pompadour-styled hair, matching Usanagi's signature look. Around him, other students pulverized their own targets, each strike meant to break, to destroy. More power, Usanagi commanded, running his silver comb through his hair as he watched. The way of the fist isn't about fancy techniques or mystical energy. It's about domination. Douglas moved to his next dummy, his denim jacket for the tournament discarded on a nearby bench. His knuckles were raw and bleeding, but he didn't seem to notice or care. Kwando thinks his students are special, Usanagi continued, pacing the training floor. He teaches them to redirect force, to flow like water. He stopped behind Douglas. But what happens to water when it meets a stone wall? What the crap? Hold on, time out. The window just closed for some reason, guys. Technical difficulties. It breaks, Douglas grinned, launching another devastating combination. The tournament is your chance, Usanagi's voice carried across the dojo. Show everyone that power is the only truth that matters. Show them why Boafang will always dominate. What about Sheriff Ruler's rules? David Brown asked between strikes. Pardon me, guys. One moment. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Allergies suck. What about Sheriff Ruler's rules? David Brown asked between strikes. Rules? Usanagi's smile was cold. In the ring, there are no rules that can stop what's coming. Kwando's little fighters won't know what hit them. His dog tags clinked as he walked among the students, each one embodying his philosophy of pure destructive force. The way of the fist had no room for defense, for restraint. Only attack, attack, attack. Gather round, Usanagi commanded, his voice cutting through the sounds of destruction. The students formed a circle, their gi stained with sweat and specks of blood from their raw knuckles. You've learned to break bodies, he began, adjusting his dog tags. Now I'll teach you to break spirits, the ultimate technique of the way of the fist. He moved to the center of the circle, his presence commanding absolute attention. Watch carefully. This technique is called the Boa Fang. Usanagi's stance shifted subtly, power coiling through his body like a snake preparing to strike. In a blur of motion, his fist shot forward, a perfect thrust aimed at throat level. The air itself seemed to cackle and crack with the force of the strike. This is no mere punch, he explained, demonstrating the motion again slowly. It is the embodiment of our style. Quick, lethal, to the point, no mercy. He gestured to Douglas. You try it. Douglas stepped forward, mimicking the stance. His first attempt was powerful, but lacked the precision Usanagi had shown. No, Usanagi corrected sharply. The target is specific. The throat. One strike, one victory. This technique doesn't just hurt opponents, it breaks their will to fight. Douglas tried again. This time his fist cut through the air with deadly accuracy. Better, Usanagi nodded. In the tournament, this will be our answer to Kwando's defensive nonsense. They try to flow like water. His smile turned cruel. We'll show them what happens when water meets a snake's fang. All right, guys, discussion time. Any questions for chapter 21? That was sort of the shortest chapter this side of the book of the conflict. They get longer from here, more in depth. So let's hear your questions. And Riley, if you have any questions, tell your mama to ask them for you. Any questions from anybody at all, ladies and gentlemen? While I'm thinking about it, I want to give a birthday shout out to Coach Elliott from Blacksburg High School. This man had an impact on my life, and I want to thank him for everything that he's done. There will be a character based on Coach Elliott in my books. He actually appears in the Tigapagon series. It won't be the next book, it'll be the final book in the series of the Tigapagon, the prequels. Well, let's ask your question, Amber. Ask your question. I apologize for the lighting. I still haven't got my studio set up the way I want to, too. So you guys just have to bear with me. Why is Douglas always with Sensei Usanagi? Is his home life really that bad? Well, I don't really go into much detail about it here, but when he reappears in Hometown Justice, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory on it. Bear with me just a minute. I'm going to cut my camera off. So, we know Douglas's dad is a wealthy tycoon businessman with his hand in some illegal things. We don't know much about his mom, so Douglas's dad is never. And in Hometown Justice, the backstory is explained when Douglas returns. He returns in Hometown Justice hostile, and he explains a little bit more about why he was always with Usanagi as a child and a teenager instead of being with his dad. So I don't want to give away too many spoilers. You mean to tell me the human question machine Riley has no questions? I left him stumped. That's nice to know. Well, if nobody else has any more questions, we'll go into chapter 22. So, a little bit of insight before I begin this chapter. This is the first time that the tournament committee is meeting, and this first scene in chapter 22 is one of the most important scenes of the entire book. Chapter 22. The Pokeful Town Hall's conference room felt too small for the personalities it contained. Sheriff Ruler sat at the head of the long oak table, official documents spread before him. To his right, Sensei Kwando sat perfectly still while Usanagi lounged in the chair opposite, absently running his silver comb through his pompadour. Topher, from Rising Sun Karate, and Lorenzo Bates from the All-Star Martial Arts occupied the middle ground between them, both men seeming to sense the underlying tension between the two Pokeful dojos. Gentlemen, Alheim began shuffling his papers, we're here to finalize the rules and structure of the Strongest Under the Stars tournament. First order of business, number of participants per dojo. 3, Sensei Kwando said quietly. 3? Lorenzo raised an eyebrow. That's quite limited. All-Star usually enters 10 students in regional competitions. Quality over quantity, Usanagi smirked, twirling his comb. Unless you're afraid your students can't compete at that level. 3 is acceptable, Topher interjected before Lorenzo could respond. Gives each dojo a chance to showcase their best without dragging the tournament out too long. Alheim made a note. 3 it is. Now, about the rules of engagement. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead as they began to debate what would and wouldn't be allowed in the ring. Regarding special techniques, Lorenzo leaned forward, his expression serious. We need to address Rai usage during matches. Usanagi's comb stopped mid-stroke. Excuse me? Rai techniques are part of traditional martial arts, Topher added. Rising Sun has several students capable of channeling it. As does All-Star, Lorenzo added. It would be unfair to restrict such a fundamental aspect of our arts. Fundamental? Usanagi's laugh was sharp. You want to allow mystical energy manipulation in a martial arts tournament. This isn't some anime fantasy. The use of Rai dates back centuries, Sensei Kwando spoke softly, but his words carried weight long before your way of the fist existed. And look where that got the Kwando clan in Okinawa, Usanagi shot back. The room temperature seemed to drop. Alhan's hand moved instinctively toward his badge. Gentlemen, Topher interrupted. 3 of the 4 dojos present utilize Rai in their training. The vote seems clear. Then Boafang withdraws from Usanagi started. You can't, Alhan cut in. Tournament participation is now mandatory under the new youth martial arts regulations. Either compete under agreed rules or lose your teaching license. Usanagi's fingers tightened around his comb. Fine. Allow your light shows and energy tricks. The way of the fist will still prevail. Then it's settled, Lorenzo made a note. Rai techniques permitted, but must follow standard safety protocols. Sensei Kwando's expression remained neutral, but there was a glimmer of something in his eyes. Concern, perhaps, for what Usanagi might do when faced with techniques he refused to understand. Next item. Alhan's voice carried the full weight of his authority as sheriff. Consequences for any dojo caught engaging in fights outside the tournament. Immediate disqualification, Lorenzo suggested. No exceptions. For an entire dojo, Usanagi leaned forward, seems rather extreme for the actions of one student. The master is responsible for their students' conduct, Topher stated firmly. If one breaks the rules, it reflects poor discipline from their training. Agreed, Sensei Kwando nodded. Students are extension of their master's teachings. Then let's be perfectly clear, Alhan picked up his pen. Any verified instance of a student engaging in martial arts combat outside this tournament will result in first offense, student disqualification. Second offense, entire dojo disqualification. Third offense, dojo license revocation. Usanagi's smirk faltered slightly. And who verifies these instances? My department, Alhan met his gaze steadily, with testimony from 2 or more witnesses. Small town, Usanagi twirled his comb. Everyone knows everyone. Seems ripe for false accusations. Are you suggesting my officers would accept false testimony? Alhan's voice carried a dangerous edge. I'm suggesting, Usanagi smiled coldly, that some might be biased against certain dojos. Then perhaps certain dojos should ensure their students maintain better discipline, Sensei Usanagi. I'm sorry. Sensei Kwando said quietly. The tension in the room could have been cut with a knife. Now, regarding the victor's prize, Alhan shuffled through his papers. Beyond the traditional trophy and title, ah, yes, Lorenzo brightened. Mayor Zamudio has offered to pay Patelli's Pizza and Shelby to host an all-you-can-eat celebration for the winning dojo. For the first time in the meeting, all five showed genuine interest. Patelli's, even Usanagi's perpetual smirk softened slightly. The place with the 4 cheese stuffed crust pizza and the garlic knots, Topher added with reverence. My students have been quite motivated since hearing about this particular reward, Sensei Kwando admitted, a slight smile playing at his lips. Free pizza for the entire winning dojo, Alhan confirmed. Mr. Patelli himself offered to close the restaurant for a private party. Teenagers fighting for pizza, Usanagi chuckled, making actually sounding genuine for once. Almost makes me wish I was competing myself. Your students don't know about this yet? Lorenzo asked. Not yet, Sensei Kwando replied, though I suspect word will spread quickly now. May the best dojo win, Topher raised his water glass, and may Patelis be prepared for hungry martial artists. All right, that is the end of chapter 22, which was also relatively short. Not a whole lot of action in it, but I have to divvy out the action and the slice of life scenes to make it make sense. So, any questions about that particular scene, the definition of the conversation of the tournament rules, laying it out? This is your chance to ask the question. He's not a new name, but he is a one-off character in the Tigapagon continuity of the prequel series. He only appears in this book. His dojo does appear in Hometown Justice, Homecoming, and a flash, or not Hometown Justice, Homecoming, Hometown Justice Rebellion in a flashback sequence. Um, as does Topher's dojo. They appear in flashback sequences, but they don't appear in person. Yep, we're going to do that. Riley is correct. 3 strikes and they're out is totally fair. And Usanagi got upset because he doesn't believe in Rai. He doesn't believe it's real. He doesn't believe it's fair that people that believe in Rai can pretend to use it against his students. So that's why he got upset, and Alhan had to step in. Well, of course, and it's also an Easter egg to anyone who lived in Upper Cleveland County in the early '90s, late '90s. Patelli's Pizza was the best place to be at. So I'm gonna go ahead and read chapter 23 tonight. Get that out of the way. Chapter 23 carries the falling action of the plot going forward. All right, chapter 23. The kitchen of the ruler farmhouse filled with the aroma of fresh biscuits and sizzling bacon. Eunice moved between the stove and the counter with practiced efficiency while Amy proudly arranged her slightly lopsided but lovingly made biscuits in a basket lined with checker cloth. Think the boys got all the milk? Amy asked, peering out the window toward the barn. Your father and brother know what they're doing, Eunice smiled, stirring the gravy. Though I hope they hurry, these eggs won't stay fluffy forever. As if on cue, the back door swung open. Alex entered first, carrying two large milk jugs, his movements controlled despite his weighted gi hidden beneath his farm clothes. Alhan followed with two more, his sheriff's badge catching the morning light. Fresh from the cow, Alhan announced, setting the jugs down. And I helped, Alex added, making Amy giggle. I helped too, she declared, pointing to her biscuits. I made them all by myself. Is that so? Alex ruffled her hair as he passed. Then I better have at least three. The family settled around the table, steam rising from the plates loaded with scrambled eggs, sausage, and bacon. Eunice's gravy boat made its rounds as Amy anxiously watched to see who was try her biscuits first. So, Eunice began passing the milk jug. The tournament's coming up soon. Are you feeling ready? Alex nodded, his mouth full of Amy's biscuit, which, despite its unusual shape, tasted surprisingly good. I'm nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, but I'm ready. I've never done anything like this before, and Dad always says a ruler never shows fear, Alex smiles. Bubby's gonna win, Amy declared with absolute certainty, using her special nickname for him. Can I come watch, please? Amy, Eunice started, concerned about her youngest seeing martial arts competition. Actually, Alhan interjected, carefully buttering a biscuit, the whole town's invited. It's going to be quite the event. Then we can have a party when Bubby wins, Amy announced in her seat, with cake and everything. Win? Alex laughed. Don't you mean if? Amy shook her head firmly. Nope. Win, because you're the strongest and the fastest and the bestest brother ever. Well, with that kind of support, how can I lose? Alex reached over to steal another of Amy's biscuits, making her beam with pride. Just be careful, Eunice said softly, with her eyes, though her eyes showed pride. Tournament or not, you're still my baby boy. Mom, Alex groaned, but he was smiling, even though through his weighted gi he could feel the warmth of his family's love and support. Mom, can we take Bubby, Ty, and Ken a cake for winning? Amy asked. I think a chocolate cake would be perfect. Actually, sweetheart, Alhan set down his coffee cup, eyes twinkling. The winning dojo gets a private pizza party at Patelli's in Shelby. All you can eat. Alex nearly choked on his biscuits. Patelli's? The Patelli's? The one with the stuffed crust? Amy's eyes went wide. Can I come to that too? Well, Eunice tried to hide her smile. I suppose if your brother wins, win, Amy corrected firmly. When your brother wins, Eunice amended, we could all go support his victory. Patelli's, Alex whispered almost reverently. Then his expression turned determined. Douglas Kennedy doesn't stand a chance. Nobody gets between me and stuffed crust pepperoni pizza. I'm like Michelangelo the Ninja Turtles when it comes to pizza. That's the spirit, son, Alhan chuckled, though maybe we keep that particular motivation between us rulers. And here I thought all that training was about honor and discipline, Eunice teased. Honor, discipline, and four cheese stuffed crust. Alex nodded solemnly, making Amy giggle again. If you're Michelangelo, Amy pondered, taking a bite of eggs, does that make Ty Leonardo? More like Master Splinter, Alex grinned, reaching for the gravy. Since he's been training longer. Then Ken has to be Donatello, Alhan joined in, surprising everyone with his knowledge of turtles. At their shocked looks, he shrugged. What? I watch cartoons with Amy. Sheriff by day, Ninja Turtle expert by night, Eunice teased, refilling his coffee cup. Speaking of ninja skills, Amy's eyes lit up. Can you show me that move you were practicing yesterday? The one where you went all whoosh and Amy, Eunice warned. No martial arts at the breakfast table. But, Mom, your mother's right, Alhan nodded. Seriously, breakfast tables for eating, Amy. Amy's amazing biscuits, not showing off moves. They're really good? Amy asked hopefully. Almost better than Patelli's pizza, Alex assured her, making her beam with pride. A knock at the door interrupted their laughter. Amy peeked through the window and her face split into a mischievous grin. Ooh, Bubby's girlfriend's here. Alex nearly choked on his milk. Amy, what? She asked innocently. Isn't she? You were kissing her at the. Amy, Eunice cut in, though she was fighting back a smile. Go let Allison in. Amy skipped to the door, throwing it open with enthusiasm. Hi, Allison, we're having breakfast. Bubby's turning red because I told everyone about the kissing. Allison stepped into the kitchen, her cheeks matching Alex's crimson shade. Good morning, everyone. Just in time, Eunice rescued them both. There's plenty of food, and Amy made the biscuits herself. Do try to eat some before you leave. You can't keep up with Alex using love only. They're better than Patelli's pizza, according to Bubby, Amy announced proudly. High praise indeed, Allison laughed, sitting into the chair next to Alex as Amy continued to beam at them both with unsubtle delight. So, Allison, Eunice began, passing her a plate of eggs. How are you handling all this tournament business? Allison glanced at Alex before answering. Honestly, I'm nervous. After seeing how Douglas and his friends act, Boafang has always been aggressive, Alhan noted, his tone careful, even before Usanagi took over. But Bubby's gonna beat him, Amy declared through a mouthful of biscuit, and then we all get pizza. Amy, don't talk with your mouth full, Eunice chided gently, then turned back to Allison. It must be difficult watching someone you care about prepare for something like this. Allison's cheeks pinked again, but she sat straighter. It was at first, but after seeing him train and seeing how much stronger he's gotten, she squeezed Alex's hand under the table. I'm still worried, but I believe in him. See? Amy pointed her with her fork. Even Allison knows Bubby's going to win. The tournament's not just about winning, Alhan said, though his proud smile at Alex suggested otherwise. No, Allison agreed, but it is about standing up to bullies, and that's something worth fighting for. The weighted gi under his clothes suddenly felt lighter to Alex as he listened to his family, and yes, he realized Allison was family now too, expressed their faith in him. Allison, Alhan set down his coffee, his expression turning serious. You've lived here your whole life. How were things with Boafang before I became sheriff? Alex felt Allison tense slightly beside him. Her hand fell to his under the table again. Different, she said quietly. Douglas's father had a lot of influence. The previous sheriff, well, he looked the other way when Boafang students caused trouble. Everyone knew to avoid certain parts of town after dark. I remember, Eunice murmured, passing Allison more biscuits as if to comfort her. Tiffany and I used to take the long way home from school, Allison continued, just to avoid walking past their dojo. And when they did catch you, she glanced at Alex. What they did to Marcus wasn't new. It was just the first time someone stood up to them. Alex sat quietly for a moment, processing what Allison had just shared. The weight of his gi seemed to press harder against his shoulders, but not as a burden, as a reminder of his responsibility. All this time, he said finally, I thought this was about me and Douglas, standing up to one bully. He looked at his father and then to Allison. But it's bigger than that, isn't it? Alex, Eunice started, concern in her voice. No, Mom, it's okay. He straightened in his chair, his voice finding strength. This tournament isn't just about winning anymore. It's about showing everyone in Pokeville that things really have changed. That no one has to take the long way home or live in fear anymore. Allison squeezed his hand. Just be careful. Douglas is dangerous because he knows he's losing control. That's why we train, Alex replied, thinking of Sensei's lessons. Not just to fight, but to protect. To show there's a better way than fear and force. Like a real superhero, Amy exclaimed. No, Squirt. Alex smiled at his sister, like a ruler. Because Dad's right. We never show fear, especially when others are afraid. Alhan's pride was visible as he watched his son grasp the deeper meaning of their family motto. Alhan's radio went off. Sheriff, we have a 1062 in progress on Main Street, Kwando's dojo, possibly 2 injured. Sarah's voice carried over the walkie-talkie. What? Alex exclaimed, standing up, nearly knocking over the table. Who's injured? Sarah, have the victims been identified? Sheriff Ruler asked into the walkie. Negative, Sheriff. Dispatching an ambulance and all patrols. Deputy Pruitt is already on the scene, and he's maintaining a perimeter but is requesting backup. Sarah relays over the walkie. 10-4, I'm on the way. Have Pruitt do his best to evacuate all students of the dojo. Alhan looks at Alex. Son, I need you to stay here. No. This is Boafeng retaliating, Alex responds. Since they stopped an attack on me after our date night, I wasn't going to tell you, but they forced my hand. Alhan stared at his son for a long moment, jaw clenched. Get in the car. Alhan, Eunice started. Both of you be careful, Allison cut in, understanding in her eyes. The silence in the police cruiser was heavy as they pulled out the driveway. Alex could feel his father's disappointment radiating from the driver's seat. You should have told me, Alhan finally said, his voice tight. I'm not just your father, I'm the sheriff. Attacks like that would have got the tournament canceled, Alex finished, and Douglas would win. Nothing would change. Alhan's hands tightened on the steering wheel. You know what really disappoints me? Not that you got attacked, not even that you kept it secret, but that you didn't trust me to understand why. The cruiser's tires crunched on Main Street's pavement as they approached the dojo. Through the windshield, they could see Deputy Pruitt directing traffic away from the scene. I trust you, Dad, Alex said quietly. That's why I'm telling you now, because whatever happened in there, it's time everyone knew the truth about Boafang. Alhan glanced at his son, seeing not just the boy who'd hidden the truth, but the young man willing to face it now. Then let's do this right, together. Smoke billowed from the dojo's windows as Alhan and Alex jumped out of the cruiser. The ancient wooden building that had stood for months in Pokeville was now engulfed in orange flames, its proud eagle sign blackened by smoke. Deputy Pruitt ran to meet them, his face streaked with soot. Sheriff, we got most of the students out, but he glanced at Alex before continuing. No one's seen Tai or Sensei Kwando. Ken's over there with the others, says they were supposed to be here early for training. Alex's heart stopped. Through the heat of the fire, he could feel the weight of his gi, the gi Sensei had given him that represented everything they stood for. Fire department's 5 minutes out, Pruitt continued, but the building structure, a loud crack interrupted him as part of the roof collapsed inward. Alex started forward instinctively, but Alhan grabbed his arm. Don't even think about it. Dad, they're in there, Tai and Sensei. And we'll find them, Alhan's voice carried the full weight of his authority, but I need you to... Another crash from inside the dojo cut him off. Through the smoke and flames, they could see the wall of scrolls. Centuries of martial arts history beginning to catch fire. Kim burst through the gathering crowd, his fern green gi visible under his hastily thrown on jacket. His eyes met Alex's with immediate understanding. The back entrance, he whispered, moving closer while Alhan spoke with the fire chief. Through the meditation garden, the walls are thinner there. Alex nodded subtly. Our weighted clothing will protect us from the heat. We can use the riot training to help us breathe through the smoke, Ken added, like when Sensei taught us to control our breathing during underwater exercises. Boys, Alhan turned back to them, his expression stern. Whatever you're thinking. Dad, look, Alex pointed suddenly toward a commotion near the fire trucks. As Alhan turned, Ken and Alex slipped away through the chaos. They circled behind the building where the smoke was thickest. You know your father's going to kill us if we survive this, Ken said, pulling his gi top over his nose. If we don't get Sensei and Tai out, Alex replied, tightening his own gi, surviving will be the least of our worries. They shared one final look, then moved toward the burning building. All of those months of training, of learning just to trust each other had led to this moment. They hoped it would be enough. And that's the end of chapter 23. I'm going to cut it off there tonight for reading. If you guys have questions, I'll answer them. Let me get y'all some light so you can see me. Now that the light's going down behind me, y'all need to be able to see me a little bit, I think. There we go. Ready for your questions, guys. Well, ask them, Amber. One at a time, and allow me to answer them while you type up the next one. The simile, nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, made me laugh. That's a new one for me. Where'd you come up with that? Festus Hagen from Gunsmoke was the first person I heard say that. And it stuck out to me. So I liked it and I used it in my book to show as an Easter egg to Gunsmoke to see if my father would ever pick up on it. Let me guess. You got a bunch of questions, and the human question machine has a bunch of questions, right? She asked if my actual sister was ever that sweet to me. She had her moments. Um, this breakfast scene was actually based off of one of those moments. I had to dig really deep in my memories to find it, but yes, it was based off one of those moments. I had broken my arm for the first time, and she was telling me I was going to come back stronger because I was her bubby. So yeah, she had her moments of sweetness, just like I had my moments of sweetness toward her. You spelled it wrong, but Patelli's Pizza was a real place. The owner sold it, and it turned into a laundromat in 2003. But yes, their four cheese stuffed crust pizza, pepperoni pizza was the best, and the way they served it to you, if you're a fan of the 1980s TMNT cartoon, it looked just like one of those pizzas that they throw at the screen, and it like the cheese stretched really cartoony. Oh my god, it was absolutely the best. Yes, it was. And the paid off reference was when Alex says, "I'm the Michelangelo of our family." It sort of paid off there. Yes and no. If you listened, there was a commotion at one of the fire trucks. Unfortunately for the rest of you guys, I'm going to leave it here on a cliffhanger. Let you guys worry about what happens in the next chapter, and next episode we'll read 3 more chapters. So, if that's your last question, Amber, does Riley have any more questions before we end this episode? All right, no more questions from the peanut gallery. Anybody else got any questions before we call it a night? Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll do another episode as soon as possible. May even do one tomorrow night if I feel like it. Until then, keep reading. We can dive in together. Y'all have a good night.